Hey everybody, and welcome back to Betty and Leon. Today's episode we're going to finish the work that I should have finished, but I kind of busted my finger, so that put a stop to play. So you guys would have seen at the end of last video, we were onto the front brakes. So that's how they currently still sit. Managed to get the rear brakes done, have the rotors off, and have all of this mess happening up the top here. Yeah, at the end of, got a bit of sunburn there. At the end of last video, I kind of cut my finger up a bit bad. Got about 5 to 10 stitches in there. Yeah, not good. So things happen sometimes. You know, finite moment of absentee mindism, and yeah, ended up cutting my finger pretty bad. So that's where I go sometimes. But we must forge ahead because we've got like 2 weeks to Wakefield Park. And I've only got a little bit to do. We've only really got to get these front brakes finished. We have to, what else we got to do? We got to do diff oils, we got to do gearbox oil. Apart from that, I think we're ready to roll. So it's close but not close enough. So let's get crack-a-lacking into it. One thing that I did find, unfortunately, with these 2 hubs is that the inner race, if you guys can see that, hopefully the inner race is able to spin. Same on both sides. So I need to, this one's already been somewhat fixed previously. Ideally, if I had time, I'd swap hubs over, but I don't have time. So what I'm going to do is center punch it, just to make like instead of it being nice and flat, it's going to have a little dimple in it. Then push some new bearing races into it, then new bearings, and then put it all back together. That's the old school method of doing it. I think in the future we'll mill this out, put a new piece in it, machine it to size, put new races in it, job will be sweet. I do have one spare hub here if it doesn't go well, and I do have another spare one here, but you'll see how the size difference in it, bit of a massive bit of size difference. So we actually need to machine these, you know, the original hubs, we machine them down. Not going to do that for the moment. I would also like to in the future maybe go to a full sort of alloy machined setup, just because all this old shit's getting old, you know, and I'm sick of kind of playing around with old stuff. A bit like the diff over the back here. Start playing with new stuff. You can buy all the bits off the shelf. When things break, just makes life a lot easier for all the things that get serviced 1,000 times. So yeah, let's get cracking into that. Hopefully shouldn't take too long. I don't have a lot of time, so I need to focus. So this one might be a bit less talking, a bit more, you know, what do you call it? Time lapse. That's the word I was looking for. So yeah, strap in, let's enjoy. One thing I really have wanted to do for a while is make all the studs on both the cars the same. So now that Leon's going to progress into having a Race Products floater, I actually went down to the boys at Race Products and got some more wheel studs. So I'm going to be swapping them out for the ARP ones that are already in there. Again, just commonality of spares. I actually like the Race Products one nicer because see how it's got like a domed head on it. It means that feeding it on and off quickly means you can't screw up and get it cross-threaded, stuff like that. Just, you know, they're all just little maintenance-y things that help you when you're in a rush. So, and they're slightly longer too, which is good because they actually go all the way through the wheel nut as opposed to these guys which kind of that actually don't. So to fit these, we've got to drill out this guy. They've told me it's a 12.5 hole, so gonna drill press that, and then we'll press them in. Just finished punching this, so normal hole punch, just punched around the outside or on the inside of that. And obviously what that is doing is making that inner diameter bigger, so that when we punch this guy or press this guy back in using the bearing install tool, yeah, it'll hold onto it, so that will no longer spin, and your bearing, which is meant to spin, will spin on the rollers, and your race will not. That's what we're trying to achieve. Check this out. Bearing race is in. So you'll see that like there's some on the inside there's like cutaways. So you can actually see that the if you can kind of see in there, there's like see that the bearing race is fully seated all the way down. And then proof is in the pudding. You can't turn that no more. So job done, awesome. Sometimes, yeah, you just got to do what you got to do to get by. That's how they did it back in the day. I know a lot of people get all, you know, get in a twist about, you know, oh, you always got to machine something, you always got to, you know, make everything perfect and right and stuff like that. Like, yep, sure, if you got the time, you got the tooling, do it. Otherwise, you do what's required to get it done, and then you come back and fix it later. So that's what we've done. It's not going to turn. It's going to be sweet. Let's carry on. Another important thing that I do, once I've got the bearing clean, I check each one of these rollers and I individually spin them so that they, you know, do a full 360-degree revolution, just to make sure they're not breaking up, because when a bearing starts to break up, you'll start to get like little, you know, pitting spots on the tapered rollers, and yeah, they quickly go from that into lunching a whole roller, and then, you know, it just gets progressively worse. So you're checking out these, you're checking out your races, make sure there's no, you know, pitting or galling or just damage. If it doesn't look nice, smooth, shiny, then for the sake of a bearing and the cost of a bearing, you just replace that thing. But these are looking good, so I'm just going to re-grease them and then throw them in. So on the back side, we have obviously the race bearing. We then have to put in the rear seal. So the rear seal just gets knocked in nice and flat, and then this guy sits in the actual seal. So that's how the rear side goes. Front side, you have the bearing, you then have a washer, you know, your washer, lock washer. You then have the big nut and set your preload, and then lock it off with a cotter pin, split pin, whatever you want to call it, a pin of some sort. Yeah, boys, how fresh is that thing looking? Look at that, fresh new studs on it, fresh new rotor. We can come put him back on. Then I'll tell you what, lads, this whole one-handed thing it's not real fun, if I'm being honest. But that's how it goes. So let's lift him up onto there, through the center. There we go. So now I need to get the bearing that sits in here all cleaned up and greased. we need to throw in our little stub axle stiffener, and then we can tension him up and everything's gonna be dope. But yeah, it's been a bit of a ride, been a bit of a slow one, but that's the way it goes when you're injured. It's my own damn fault and I am paying for it. But yeah, we're getting closer, we're nearly there. Boom! The front bearing is now in, castle nuts on, split pin in. Final job we've got to do is put this guy in there and give him a little tap, hitting it on the edge so that you don't damage the center of it. It's got to look good, it's got to perform good, and that be that, guys. So let's get on to the other side and finishing that up. And boom, there we have it. Fresh pads in, nothing better than fresh pads, dudes. Love them. Now that the driver side's done, gonna hit up the passenger side. Again, freshy pads. Volvo 4-pots have these pins that hold the pads in up the top, so you can see the holes through there. They get a bit rusty, so the best course of action for that is hit them with the old brass wire wheel, and then yeah, just slide them on in front and then line up. One-handed's a bit of a struggle. Oh, there we go. Just got to make sure that the little hole is lined up, so we can put it's got these little, they're like on your remote control car. Maybe you used to hold the body on with them if it's wants to focus. Yeah, they just go through the actual rod, the pin, and then that's what stops the pin from falling out. So pretty simple, but that's how they did it back in the day. Some of these new brake systems you work on, they seem like they're overcomplicated. You got to undo a whole bunch of other stuff and mess around. What's wrong with a couple of pins, eh? Keep it race car style. Boom. All right. So that's passenger side, looking fresher than fresh. I was just prepping the exhaust to put the wrap pipe on. I just thought I'd have a look at see how the old homemade's going, and seems like I didn't really hit the mark on the weld there. So I'm going to knock that a little bit more flat and then give another bead around there. It should, I don't think I had enough filler wire in it, but it's awesome because that proves that, you know, we always learn something when something breaks. So I'll just TIG that up now and that'll be sweet. But the rest of it looks pretty good. Looks like it's all holding together, so not bad for the first cab off the rank ever. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked with that. I mean, the backfires out of this thing do, you know, they're quite an explosion, so I'm kind of not surprised. But finish that boy up, and I ran around this lip again just because I thought some of them were a bit not enough penetration in the weld. So that one's still a little bit high, but yeah, you know, being a noob welder, this is how we learn. So it's looking good, so we'll slap it back on the car and fire it up, because, you know, got to test these things out, boys. Exhaust face back on. Let's fire up the beast. Do a little before and after for that dude on the back when we add him on. Give him a couple of clicks and fire it. Next up, we've got 4-link bushes. I'm going to put a new set in the back of old Leon, because you would have seen, I'll just show you the 4-link. So 4-link, 1 link, 2 links, you know, 2 links on the other side. You would have seen in the last race video, so I was getting a lot of axle tramp on downshift, and that'll happen for a number of reasons, but usually it's a whole bunch of reason around these bushes get flogged out. The rear shocks might need a rebuild, things like that, but these shocks are good, I know. I do know that this is still running the original. They were like a, what's the word for, like a rubberized, you know, bush from back in the day, to try and keep the articulation in the 4-link, because you still want it to be able to, you know, pivot without binding. So the up and down movement, and also because it's live axle, you know, when one side's up, the other's down, and so on and so forth, you can create binding moments. But yeah, I'm going to put new bushes in because Betty has historically always had new bushes in it, and I don't have those sort of issues on downshift with her. So we're going to pull them out, burn them out with my new Duracast 8000 Burns-O-Matic, and we're going to fit these new white line bushes. So anyone with RX2, you're swapping them out, there you go, W61550. You need 2 packs of these, because you only get 4 bushes in each one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. I did actually buy 2 packs, and only one came up. One came. So I'm going through a claims process at the moment on that, but which is a bit annoying. So I'm going to do the bars, the 2 top bars today, because if they don't turn up before we got to go to Wakefield Park, then at least when the other ones arrive, I got the easy ones to do, because the lower side's easier than the top side. So that's my plan of attack at the moment. And they're out. Just a couple of bolts, nothing too serious. Just one little thing with these links, top and bottom. People don't realise, but you can see that, you know, this sort of splays out this way and this guy splays out that way. They actually are positional. So like there is a driver's side and a passenger side arm for top and bottom. They have a slight kink in them that you can hopefully kind of see there. It's very marginal, but it is in there. So something to remember if you are going to attempt this job yourself. Okay, next. Fire up the old gassy boy and melt these old ones out of it. Said we'll burn them out. Already done one, and it's on the car. But yeah, what I got to now. Just let me put that in the voice. What I've been doing now, because I did one and I thought, oh, that's messy as hell. I mean, yes, there's still mess here, but that's how you roll. What I realised is I can run a drill sort of 8 times around it or whatever, and then knock this with a punch, and I can punch the center out, and then the rest of it just kind of falls out. So that's what I've been doing instead of using this bad boy. I'm just going to do that. So yeah, check that one out. This side of the car is now finished. So wheels back on, and in there is new bushes with a nylock. And the reason for the nylock is so that we can keep it locked on the nylock, but the nut and the bolt in the pivot point is actually loose, so it still remains articulated, so it can articulate without binding up and stuff like that. So little trick. Historically you have spring washers and a normal nut, and that doesn't really allow you to do that. So we'll throw these back in here, wherever they go, over here, and we'll run with the nylock idea, because it seems like it'll work a whole lot better. All right, let's watch this. You guys can get some time lapse happening. Watch me do my thing. that's how we do that. Skinny little fuddy. Skinny dude, that's our original Mazda piece. Goes on the backside. And then another fresh little nylocky. Back in, boom shakalaka, and looking mint. I will throw the wheel back on it and then give that chromey boy a little polish along with all the other chrome and a wash for old dirty boy over here. He's looking pretty secondhand. Even the lens clean, he's looking pretty secondhand. Yeah, he just needs a wash now and ready to roll for Wakefield Park. So I guess that ends this one. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, give us a little subby. I just want to get to 1,000. I'd be happy with 1,000. I think we're at 750 at the moment. I know there's a lot of people that watch that don't sub. Yeah, just a dude in his backyard, giving it a go, going racing and documenting it for all you guys who've got your rotaries at home, who are very close to this setup. You can steal most of the things I do and make your cars better. So if you think there's some sort of value that I provide for you or entertainment, give us a subby. Okay guys, peace out.